Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, I will show you how to display date-time labels in the horizontal axis, along with its other customization options. Look at this line series chart that shows weather statistics data. Also, the x-axis is further enhanced with other customizable elements like axis labels and axis ranges. First, I will open an existing Blazor application where I have already added a simple Blazor chart. If you would like to watch that video, follow the link provided in the card to learn the basics of adding a Blazor chart. You can also find a reference link in the description below. Now, I will run this example by pressing F5. You can see the default chart output with two axes, X and Y, with no data points displayed. Next, I will show you how to customize the Blazor chart with a date-time axis. I am going to display weather statistics data in a line series chart, so I define a chart series tag inside this chart series collection, and set the chart series type to line. Next, I will begin populating the data for the chart. Within this code block, I will create a model class called ChartDataModel with two fields, date and temperature. Then, I need to create a list of chart data of type ChartDataModel and assign an array of objects to it. Next, I assign this chart data to the dataSource property, and map the data source field's date to XName and temperature to the YName property of this series. Here, I am going to use datetime value data in the x-axis, so first let me define a chart primary x-axis tag and set the value type property to datetime. I set the chart title to weather statistics and the x-axis title to years. To set a title for the y-axis, let me add a chart primary y-axis tag and set the title to temperature value. To make the chart's appearance more appealing, I define a chart marker tag, and to enable a data marker, I will set the visible property to true. Also, I will set a custom height and width for the marker. So here, you can view the line series chart that displays date-time values on the x-axis, with the main title displaying weather statistics. You can see the chart displays the axis titles to enhance the chart's readability. Alright, now I will explain the datetime axis properties one by one with simple scenarios. Now, I will say about label format, with which you can customize your chart axis labels and display more information. To this property, I can set either the globalized or custom label format. If you want to learn more about globalized label formats, please look at the documentation page linked in the card above. Here, I want to display the axis labels in year month format, so let me define the label format property and format the labels like this. And now, you can see the chart output where x-axis labels are displayed in year-month format. Here, you can see the x-axis values range from 2016 to 2020. If I would like to set an axis range for the x-axis here, then I define the properties minimum and maximum, and set the range to 2015 and 2021 within this chart's primary x-axis tag. And now, you can view the chart output, displaying custom date range values in its x-axis from the year 2015 to 2021. Like these minimum and maximum properties, you can also set a custom interval and interval type for the x-axis values. First, I need to define the properties interval and interval type inside this x-axis section. Here, this datetime axis supports 7 interval types: auto, years, months, days, hours, minutes, and seconds. In this chart output, the default axis interval is 1 and the interval type is auto. Now, I am going to change the interval as 6 and interval type to months within this chart code. Look at the chart output. You can see the chart axis showing the x-axis values like 2015 December, 2016 June, and so on, with its interval being increment by 6. In this chart output, have a look at this axis label at the edge, where the edge axis label is cropped, as it is placed outside the chart area. So, to move this axis label inside the chart area, I need to set the edge label placement property to shift here. See the chart output, the axis label placed inside the chart area. Next, I will move on to another property, range padding. Range padding means applying padding to the minimum and maximum extremes of the axis. In datetime axis, there are 3 types of padding to choose from: none, round, and additional. In the first option, none, the minimum and maximum of the axis range is based on the data. In the second option, round, the minimum and maximum extremes of the range are rounded to the nearest possible value divisible by the interval. The last option is additional, in which the interval of the axis will be padded to the minimum and maximum extremes of the axis. Alright, let me set the range padding for the axis range. Here, I am going to show how to set maximum and minimum extremes of the axis based on data. So, let me set the range padding option to none, within this chart primary x-axis tag. Look at the chart output, where the x-axis minimum and maximum extremes of the axis based on data. Finally, I will show how to display only the business days of a week in the datetime axis, that is, nonlinear intervals. I may need to use the datetime category axis in the Blazor chart to achieve this. To show this axis type with better clarity, I will bind stock market data as the chart's data source, as stock prices usually change only on weekdays. Then, I will redefine the chart data source fields to name and iname properties of the chart. Here, to customize the chart axis with the datetime category, I will set the value type to datetime category and retain the necessary properties. I am planning to format the label, so let me define label format property and set value like this. Then, I define the edge label placement property with the value shift to move the edge axis label inside the chart area. Along with this, I will set appropriate titles for chart and axes within this chart code. And now, you can view the chart output, which displays just the business days in the x-axis, so that the data points are continuously shown here. Okay, let's quickly recap what we have seen so far. We have seen how to customize the datetime x-axis of Blazor charts by customizing its value type and range padding. We also saw how to format the axis labels. If you would like to see the working example of the charts in this video, you can download it from the GitHub link in the description below. You can also see if you qualify for a free license key to use our Blazor products through our community license. If you found this video useful, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.